that first warm-up. First warm-up says, given that h of x equals negative 2x minus 4x, what's the value of h of negative 3? All right, if we're unsure what to do this looks similar to what else in the question? What does that look similar to? The h negative 3. What other part does it look like? Do y'all see anything else that looks like it? Almost the same format? I mean, almost identical. Which part, Robert? What do you think?
H of 6.
Yeah, he said the h of x. So right here, look, h of negative 3. All that's telling you is that your x is negative 3. That's all it's saying. So when it's asking you what is the value of h of negative 3, you're just plugging this in. So all you're going to do here is you take that negative 2, parentheses, negative 3, squared, minus 4 times negative 3. This is one way to do it. So I'll tell you about the other way here in a bit. So wherever you see the x's, you're just plugging in the negative 3. That's option 1, right? Option 1, this is what we can do. The other option you can do, option 2, is you can graph negative 2x squared minus 4x, and then look at your table. How do we look at the table? Control T, and then just see what is paired up with negative 3. So you're looking at what's paired up with negative 3 in the table. Because all it's really looking for is the output. It's looking for the y. That's all it's looking for. So pick one to do real quick. I'll give you a minute. All right, next one says, so what was our answer? We said it was negative 6. So negative 6. All right, next one says, which set of ordered pairs is a function? That's the next one. Which set of ordered pairs represents y as a function? What does it mean to be a function? What has to happen? The x's cannot what?
It can't hit twice.
Can't hit twice. All right, so if it's a graph, you can't hit twice. If it's a list, your x's cannot repeat. All right, so look at your x's. Are they repeating on the first one? No. Nope. Are they repeating on the second one? Yes. How about the third one? Yes. How about the fourth one? Yes. So the only one that is a function is option A. All right. Let me delete that. All right, it says a line is graphed on the coordinate grid. Which statement about the line is true? Do y'all know what type of slope this is? What type of slope goes up and down? Do you remember? Undefined. It's 0 or undefined. It's one or the other. What do y'all think? Undefined. This is an undefined slope. So just knowing, kind of recalling those slopes, the fact that it's undefined, go ahead and cancels out these two. The other thing you want to look at is what axis is it crossing? It's crossing which one? The x-axis. Well, it has to be x equals 3 then. That would be your equation. So if you want to make a note real quick, again, this is your study guide. Your undefined line goes up and down. Your 0 line goes side to side. Okay? Just remember your difference. We're on 7 now. So when you're ready, let's go twist over. Let's flip over to lesson 7. Lesson 7. All right, so InSolve is used for most of this. Now, what I did notice when we did that first quiz is some of us were trying to use InSolve in situations we can't use InSolve for. So where would I use it if I was using it? I would use it if I saw an equal sign. So if there's an equal sign, right? I would use it. And if it had one variable. What does it mean to have a variable? Just one what?
Solution.
One what? Go ahead, you said it, I think.
Solution.
One letter. If it just has one letter, like if all it wants is W and it has an equal sign, just go for it, right? You have something on each side. Now, it's not a function. It's not y equals 4x plus 3. It's not that, right? So if I had this, if I had f of x equals x squared plus 5, right? Because that has one variable. This is not what I would use it for. I would use it for something like, let's say 10 equals 4x plus 5. Then I would use it for that one. All right, so just kind of know what formulas you're using it for. Now, there are buttons to get you to insolve, but I didn't show you those buttons because there's so many buttons that we're using. How did I teach you how to put this in? What do you have to do when you are using insolve? Type it out. All right, so I'm going to give you a minute. I want you to try insolve on 1, 2, and 3. These are all insolve questions. Remember at the very end, anytime you use insolve, what do you have to put at the end? Comma and then the letter. All right, so just remember the comma and then whatever your letter is at the end. Okay? All right, so let me give you guys some time. Then the only other thing we can do is actually go through and do your distribution. So if it's not working, you would do 4 times y is 4y. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12 plus 19. Then 16y plus 24 plus 7. So if we forget how to do insolve, you cannot ask the teacher, what did I do wrong, or how do I enter this? Because we cannot answer that. So if that's not working, your fallback's going to be this. So then we have 4y plus 7 equals 16y plus 31. Then minus the 4y. Then minus the 31. So that would be negative 24 equals 12y divided by 12. So y here would be equal to, did everyone get negative 2 on this one? Should be negative 2. So again, if we are struggling with the insolve, you have to calculate it. That's your only option. And yes, it's one problem, but for some of us, it's one problem that's going to keep us from passing or failing this test. Okay? All right, what did y'all get for this one? Those of us that went through and did the insolve on this one. 32? All right, what did y'all get for number 3? D, because that was a decimal, right? When y'all did the insolve, it gave you 0.2. So 0.2 is neither one of those. So you have to come through and calculate this in the calculator, and it gives you 0.3 repeating. This one gives you 0.2. So you do have to calculate and see what decimal is correctly represented by which fraction, okay? All right, as we get to these, there is no shortcut on this one. So on these, you need to graph them for y. So the first one, which we're going to do, is we're going to solve them both. Now, we did not use space up here. So I'm going to be writing up here at the top. Okay, so I want you to do the same because there isn't much room to write on with the notes, okay? All right. So I'm going to take that first one and I'm going to write it up here. I'm going to write 2x plus y equals negative 4. All right, if I want the y by itself, what do I need to move over? The x. Do I add the x or subtract the x? Subtract. So you're going to minus 2x. You're going to do the opposite. So you're going to say y equals negative 2x minus 4. That's your first equation. Box it in. You're done with that one. All right, bring your next one up. So I'm going to bring this one up here so I have room to write. I have negative 3y equals 2x plus 12. How do I get the y by itself? What do I have to do to every single number? Divide it by. If I want the y by itself? Are you trying to get rid of the 2, the 12, or the 3? What are you trying to get rid of? Divided by negative 3. You're trying to eliminate this number next to that y. All right, so and then in your calculator, you'll do negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. 2 divided by negative 3 is negative 23x. And then 12 divided by negative 3, that's going to give us negative 4. And this is the second equation you're going to graph. The question is just asking what graph can be used to find the solution. So then once you have it, we're going to press Control Dock and open up a graph. And we're going to graph that first one. We're going to graph negative 2x minus 4. And then press tab to add that second one. So negative 2/3 x minus 4. All right, so which one best represents it? The graph on the left or the graph on the right? The graph on the right. Okay, so you just need to remember how to solve for x when it comes to these questions, especially if it's if there's two equations, okay? All right, same thing with this one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move over that first one. Let's minus the 10x on both sides. I'm left with negative y equals negative 10x plus 53. Can I have a negative y? Nope. So I have to divide everything by negative what? 1. All right, so this gives us a positive y and then 10x minus 53. All right, that's your first one. All right, the second one, is there already in y equals? Yes, so you don't have to change this one. You just enter this one the way it looks. So you're going to graph these two for me. Graph these two for me. All right. We're going to find the solution. Let's see if y'all can remember the steps here. So control dog to get a new graph. We're graphing 10x minus 53. And then the other one, enter it exactly the way it looks. So enter it as a fraction. So negative 13x. Plus 92, and then in the denominator, we're just placing that 2. All right, it wants to know what's the solution. What are they asking for on this graph? What are we interested in? What part of the graph? Where they do what? Where they meet. If this is not a quadratic, I'm not looking for the x-intercepts. So if you do menu and you zoom out, so everybody do menu, zoom out, you're looking up here. You're interested in this piece. That's what the solution is to 2 lines. All right, because some of us just said, we're looking for the zeros, we're looking for the x-intercepts. That's when your graph is a U. When it's like this, then you're looking for x-intercepts. If it's like this, then you're looking for that point specifically. This is your solution. All right, so it depends on what you're looking for, what your graph is. So to look for the solution, what do y'all think we have to press? If you were testing right now and you had a guess, what do you think we're going to press?
Trace.
Okay, so how do I get to trace?
Menu.
Menu? Trace? What do I want to trace?
Graph.
My graph? All right, so I see it down here blinking, so you might want to go left or right. Now left goes down. Do I want to go left then? No, let's go right. And it meets right there. All right, so which one's my answer? A. All right. All right, good job guessing on what that one is. That wasn't the only button you could have hit. You could have hit intersection as well, right? If we wanted to instead, if I wanted to go to menu and go to analyze my graph and analyze the intersection, because this is how we did it in class, you could go left and right and that intersection pops up. So there was another way to get around that one. All right, look at this one here. Do I need to solve for both of them or one of them? Both. All right, so I'm going to take this one here. Now, do y'all remember what I said about these here? When they're written backward, what can you do? Just reverse them. Just switch them. So when they're written backward, just reverse them. I'm going to put this first. So I'm going to put 2y minus 4 first. And then I'm going to put the x on the right side. All I did was switch them. That's all I did. Because we all freak out when that y is not on the left side. So if that happens to us, just switch everything over. Just make sure everything's copied the way it looks. What do I need to move over with the x? The 2 or the 4? If I want the y by itself, what do y'all think? The 4. All right, let's add the 4. Can I add x and 4 together? So would it be 4x? No, it would be x plus 4. All right, and then what do I have to do to every single number now? Divide it by 2. All right, 2 divided by 2 is 1. X over 2 doesn't change. 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, this is your first equation. Okay, let's go to the next one. What do I need to move over if I want that y by itself? Move the 7. Do I want to add the 7 or subtract the 7? Subtract the 7x. Am I going to do negative 66 minus 7? Hopefully not, right? Because the 7 has an x, the 66 doesn't. So then how do I get the y by itself? Divide everything by 5. All right. So I have y equals negative 7 over 5x minus 66 over 5. So this is your second equation. All right, so I want you to graph it. See if you can find me the solution first. Once we have it graphed, the question is, what is the x value of the solution? So do y'all want to find the intersection or trace it on this one? It doesn't matter to me. Intersection or trace? Trace. All right, so we're going to go to menu. Let's trace this. And you see it here. Again, just go to the left or right until it's at the point that you want it at. So mine's going to be about right there. And if you notice, if you look very closely, it's not right at the intersection. So it's at like negative 7.8 and then negative 8.1. And all I'm looking for is the x value. So it has to be between negative 8.1 and negative 7.8, which is the only one that's in between those numbers. What do y'all think? All right, maybe that one. Don't count these out. I want you to go ahead and check those. So check 19 over 7. You just have to do control doc. 19 divided by 7. And then control enter. That gives us about 2.7. So no, that one's not it. All right, what about 62 divided by 19? That one gives us about 3.2. So that one should be H. Again, we could do the intersection because the intersection does give us that whole number. So if I did menu, analyze, and analyze the intersection, we could go left to right, and it should pop up. The only thing with that trace, and I'm not shooting down the trace is beneficial. And if that's all we remember, you go with it. But if you remember how to do the intersection would definitely just shoot out the answer. Okay? All right. I'm going to finish this part tomorrow.